Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope that everyone is fine. In the previous video, we have discussed Unit 1, the brain and nerves in detail. And I have given you two worksheets to solve. We will discuss the solution of the worksheets and exercise of this lesson. But before that, let's have a concept check. We will have few questions to check our concept. Let's start with fill in the blanks. Your first blank is the nerves that transmit signals from the brain to the muscles and glands are called dash nerves. And the answer is motor nerves. Your second blank is the nerves that transmit signals from the sense organs to the brain are called dash nerves. And these nerves are called sensory nerves. Answer these questions. Your first question is, how are you able to hear sounds? We know that the outer ear directs sound to a thin membrane, the eardrum. Sound vibrations pass on to the inner ear, where the nerves carry the message to the brain. Question number 2 is, how does the tongue detect different tastes? We have taste buds on our tongue, and the answer will be the taste buds on your tongue are sensitive to chemicals in food. They send signals to the brain. The tongue detects different tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami. The third question is, what happens to the cells on the surface of the skin? We have receptor cells on the skin and they carry information to the brain. We can write our answer as, the skin has thousands of receptor cells. These receptor cells send information to the brain about things we touch. For each type of sensation, we have different receptor cells. The skin enables you to feel heat, cold, pain, pressure, and touch. Now we will solve worksheet number 1. The first question of your worksheet is, circle the letter by the correct answer. Your first statement is, which one of the following is not a function of the skull? Your options are, option A, it protects the brain from injury. It provides structural shape and design for the head and face. Option C, it connects the spinal cord to the nerve cells in the brain. What do you think? What is the correct option? It is option C. The second statement is, the three basic parts of the nervous system are brain, heart, nerves, brain, spinal cord, nerves, brain, arteries, stomach. And the correct option is option B. Third statement is, Ahmed hurt his finger. Which part of the nervous system is responsible for transmitting information to the brain about Ahmed's injury? And your options are A, nerves, option B, brain system, option C, spinal cord. And the correct option is option A, nerves. The fourth statement is, which of the following is not a function of the spinal cord? Option A, it controls body functions by sending and receiving messages to and from the brain. Option B, it helps keep our body straight and upright. Option C, it helps connect the various organs of the body to the brain. And the correct option is option C. The next statement is, without the nervous system, we would not be able to taste, smell, both of the above. We know that all the sense organs are connected to the brain. So without the nervous system, we would not be able to taste and smell. So the correct option is option C. Moving towards the next question, question number 2. Define a reflex action. We know that reflex action is an automatic action, and which part of the nervous system controls reflex actions? Right, spinal cord controls reflex actions. The first question of your second worksheet is, draw lines to show which part of the brain is responsible for the following functions. Starting from the right side, the first action is talking. Talking is voluntary action and your cerebrum is responsible for this. Your second action is hearing. Hearing is a sensory action and all your senses are controlled by cerebrum, so hearing will be controlled by cerebrum. The next action is smelling. Smelling is again a sensory action and it will be controlled by cerebrum. Thinking. Thinking is a voluntary action and it will be controlled by your cerebrum. Now look towards the left side. The first action is moving. Moving involves movement of your joints and bones and muscles. So it is being controlled by your cerebellum. Memorizing is the action that is controlled by your cerebellum. Tasting is the sensory action and it is again controlled by the cerebellum. Balancing is controlled by cerebellum. Your question number 2 is, write down the names of the 5 senses and the sense organs related to them. So write down the names of the 5 senses first. We have 5 senses that are sense of sight, sense of hearing, sense of smell, sense of taste, and sense of touch. Now which sense organ is related to which sense? You have to write in front of it. For sight, our eyes are responsible. We can hear with the help of our ears. We can smell with the help of our nose. We can taste different things with the help of our tongue. And we can touch different things with the help of our skin. In the next question, you have to draw a label diagram of your eye. On your book, page number 6, a labeled diagram of a human eye is provided. So you are supposed to draw a labeled diagram of your eye. I hope that these worksheets were quite helpful. After solving the worksheets, now we will solve exercise of this unit. The first question of exercise is, choose the correct answer. The first statement is, which organ works with the nervous system and the sense organs to detect the world around us? Your options are heart, brain, liver, and lungs. The correct option is B. The second statement is, which of the following does the brain need in order to function properly? The options are sleep, food, oxygen, or all of these. We know that our brain requires food, enough sleep, and continuous supply of oxygen to work properly. So the correct answer will be option D. The third statement is, What does the medulla control? Voluntary actions, balance, motivation, involuntary actions. We know that medulla controls all the involuntary actions. The next statement is, what is the name of the top layer of skin? Your options are dermis, retina, cerebrum, epidermis. And the top layer of skin is called epidermis. Brain cells are different from other cells of the body because they do not work, regrow, need oxygen, die. And the correct option is that nerve cells are not able to regrow. Question number 2 is, match the definition in column A with the correct term in column B. Let's start. Nerves which causes movement in muscles are called motor nerves. The second definition is the part of the brain which controls breathing. Breathing is an involuntary action, so our involuntary actions are controlled by medulla. The third definition is the nerve which carries messages from the eye to the brain is called optic nerve. The colored part of the eye is called iris. The part of the eye on which the lens focuses is called retina. Now we will solve some blanks. Starting with the first blank, the outer ear directs sounds to the dash, and the answer is eardrum. Your outer ear directs sounds to the eardrum. Second blank is smells are dash in the air. So smells are chemicals in the air. The dash on your tongue are sensitive to chemicals in food. What do you have on your tongue? We have taste buds. The dash connects the brain to the spinal cord. Which part of brain connects brain to the spinal cord? That is medulla or brain stem. The fifth blank is the dash is the part through which light enters the eye. In iris we have a hole, and that is pupil. The brain is the part of dash system. Which system does our brain make? That is nervous system. Dash are like telephone wires and link all parts of the body to the brain. Answer is nerves. Nerves are the telephone wires and link all parts of the body to the brain. The three main parts of brain are medulla, cerebellum and cerebrum. The nerve cells need a continuous supply of dash. What do nerve cells need? They need continuous supply of oxygen. Question number 4 is, on this outline drawing of the brain, color the three areas and label the following: cerebellum, cerebrum and medulla. In this question, you have to identify the three areas first, and then you will color them and label them as well. The three different areas mean the three parts of brain. You will color the three different areas on the given diagram on the exercise page. You can take help from page number 3 to identify different areas of brain. So, Did you identify the three areas? You can color them on your own choice. Let's label these areas after coloring. The largest part of brain is called cerebrum. Stem-like structure is known as medulla or brain stem. And the third part of your brain is cerebellum. Your question number 5 is, which area of the brain will be the most active when you perform the following tasks and actions? One example has been given in your exercise, and that is walking. While walking, your cerebellum and cerebrum are the most active parts of brain. In bracket, they have given the reasons that why cerebellum and cerebrum are the most active parts. Cerebellum is active because walking involves coordination, movement and balance. And cerebrum is the most active part while walking because walking is a voluntary movement. In the same way, you will write the name of that part of the brain, and in bracket you will tell the reason as well. The first action is remembering to buy your friend a present for his or her birthday. This action is related to your memory, and cerebrum will be the most active part while remembering to buy your friend a present for his or her birthday because this action involves motivation and memory. The second action is copying a picture from a book. So copying a picture from a book involves the movement, and it also involves your attention, your sight. So while copying, your cerebrum and cerebellum will be the most active parts. Cerebrum is active because this is a voluntary movement. It involves attention, touch, awareness of space and sight. And cerebellum is the most active part because copying a picture involves coordination, movement and balance. The next action is understanding different words. So while understanding different words, your cerebrum is the most active part, as while understanding different words, you might be reading. It involves language as well, and this action is related to your memory. The fourth action is doing well in your tests. So when you do well in your test, during this action, your cerebrum is the most active part because doing well in your tests is related to your academic skills, memory, language, and reading. The fifth action is controlling your tears when you are sad. During this action, your cerebrum and cerebellum will be the most active parts. Cerebrum is active because this action involves emotion, and cerebellum is active because this action involves coordination as well. The sixth action is feeling bored and fed up. This action is related to your attention, and cerebrum is the most active part when you are feeling bored and fed up. The next action is concentrating on a particular subject. Again, this action is related to your attention, and cerebrum is controlling your attention, so cerebrum is the most active part while concentrating on a particular subject. Dancing. While dancing, your cerebellum is the most active part because it involves coordination, movement, and balance. The next action is feeling pain in your elbow. What do you think that when you are feeling pain in your elbow, which part of brain will be the most active? Two parts of the brain will be the most active parts, and that are cerebrum and medulla. Cerebrum will be the most active part because this action involves touch, and medulla will be the most active part because this section is related to your nervous system. Talking to your friend. When you are talking to your friend, your cerebrum and cerebellum are the most active parts. Cerebrum is active because this section involves your language, and cerebellum is the most active part because this section also involves movement. Coughing. Coughing is an involuntary action, and we know that involuntary actions are controlled by medulla. This section is related to your nervous system. The last action is blinking. Again, this is an involuntary action and is related to nervous system. So, medulla is the most active part while blinking. We will discuss answers of the questions given on page number 10 of your book. The first question is, name the different kinds of nerves in the body. We have discussed two kinds of nerves in the lesson. Now we will write their names. The two kinds of nerves mentioned are motor nerves and sensory nerves. Question number 2 is, what is the function of the sensory nerves? We know that sensory nerves carry signals from sense organs to the brain. So we will write our answer as, the sensory nerves carry signals between the sense organs and the brain, directly or via the nerves on each side of the spinal cord. Question number 3 is, what is a reflex action? Which part of the nervous system controls reflex actions? We know that reflex actions are the automatic actions and are controlled by spinal cord. So our answer will be, a reflex action is an automatic action. They are controlled by the spinal cord. I hope that answers of 3 questions are clear now. Now we will move towards the fourth question. The fourth question is, how does the eye see things? In this question, we have to tell about the whole process when the light enters our eye and when the image is formed on retina. So the answer will be, light enters the eye through the pupil in the center of the iris. The lens focuses the image on the retina. The optic nerve carries the message to the brain, which interprets what we are seeing. Question number 5 is, name the parts of the brain. What is the function of each part? Now there are two parts of this question. In the first part we have to name the parts of the brain, and in the next part we have to tell their functions. The parts of brain are the cerebrum, the medulla or brainstem, and the cerebellum. Now we will tell about the function of cerebrum. The cerebrum controls voluntary actions like thinking, feeling, decision making, reading, seeing, differentiating between senses, remembering. The medulla controls involuntary actions such as most bodily functions like breathing, digesting, and organ function. It keeps working when we are asleep. Now tell the third part of the brain, that what is the function of the third part. The cerebellum controls balance and movement of our muscles and joints, helping us to do the physical actions that involve our muscles. Question number 6 is, when you feel dizzy and faint, you fall down. Can you think why? It is the body's way of helping you. How is this fall going to help? This question is a bit conceptual question. Okay, what do you think? Why do you feel faint? Let me tell you. We feel dizzy and faint when our brain doesn't get proper supply of blood. And as a result, we fall down. Our heart is the pumping organ. It pumps blood to all parts of the body. When we fall down, our heart and brain are on the same level. And now when your heart and brain are on the same level, your heart doesn't have to work as hard to push blood up to your brain. I hope that you understood the reason. We will write our answer as fainting is caused by a temporary reduction in the blood flow to the brain. When you collapse to the ground, your head and heart are on the same level. This means your heart doesn't have to work as hard to push blood up to your brain. Question number 7 is, how does the nose detect smell? We know that there are tiny nerves in the nose as well, which will carry message to the brain. Our answer is, smells chemicals in the air dissolve on the moist lining of the nostrils. The nerves carry a message to the brain and you detect the smell. The last question of the exercise is, if you touch a hot plate, what makes you take your hand away? How does the message get to the brain? This question is again an example of reflex section. We will write our answer as, tiny sensors in your skin sense the heat nearby. A message is flashed by the nerves to the spinal cord and to your muscles and you pull your hand away. I hope all the questions of exercise are clear now. Memorize these questions very well. Till then, take very good care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.